Hello guys, welcome back to Beyond the Realms and the Hitchcock Takeover here on my channel. And today I'm going to be reviewing his film from 1929, one of his British films off of this set, entitled Blackmail. Now Blackmail is significant for, the main reason is because it is Alfred Hitchcock's first talking picture. And actually, it's the first film out of the UK that ever had talking in it. The film was originally going to be silent, and during the production, the film company decided they wanted it to be a talking picture. Alfred Hitchcock wasn't too keen on that. He actually resisted wanting to do talking pictures at first. I've heard him quoted as saying that he thought it was a distraction from the story. Thankfully, he changed his mind on that. But the first 5-6 minutes or so of the film is actually silent, and I thought the whole film was going to be that way. It starts off, you see people talking, but you don't hear any interaction. You just hear the music, and then eventually talking comes into it. Now, there is a full silent version of this film out there, and I hear it's a lot better than this version. Like, they filmed 2 versions of the film. I'd really like to see that. I don't know if it's even available or not, but I'd like to check it out. But anyway, the story of Blackmail is this detective for Scotland Yard named Frank. Him and his girlfriend Alice, they go out to dinner, and they're not getting along too well. And they have an argument, and Frank storms off. And in the meantime, Alice meets this guy named Mr. Crew, who is an artist. And she ends up going back to his place to see some of his art. And while they are there, he comes on to her very heavily, and he actually tries to rape her. And it's a pretty intense scene for 1929. I mean, it's all suggestive because it's done in shadow and behind a curtain. But for 1929, again, there's Alfred Hitchcock pushing the envelope. But Alice ends up stabbing Mr. Crew and killing him. And he dies. And the next day, Frank is assigned to the murder case, and he doesn't realize what happened. And once he gets there, he finds one of Alice's gloves and realizes that she was the one that did it. And he conceals the gloves from the other detectives there, and decides that he's not going to turn his girlfriend in. But later on, there's this guy that they run across named Tracy, who was the model for one of Mr. Crew's paintings there of a clown. And he saw Alice there that night and knows that she did it, so he decides he's going to blackmail them both. He says he's going to turn them in unless they give him money. And, things end up happening, and Tracy is also wanted from the police. He has an outstanding record. So, that's how things play out. And from there, all kinds of stuff, of course, happens. But that is basically what Blackmail is about. I really liked this film a lot. I thought it was a very good film. Now, one interesting thing about this, the lead character, Alice, I guess she had a very heavy accent. Like, her English wasn't very well. She's from I believe it was the Czech Republic. And she had a very strong accent that just didn't work out for the picture. So they actually had a voice actress fill in for her. And at the time, they weren't able to do overdubs. So I guess this actress stood right off camera, and Alice would just mouth her words, and this woman would say the words in time with her. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty crazy to think, of how, because, I mean, yeah, they had to have perfect timing, and obviously Alice couldn't look at her, so this voice actress had to really be on her game, to be able to match up Alice's words. But pretty interesting. But yeah, the film is really good. It really has some good suspense elements. that Hitchcock's known for, especially once Frank finds out that Alice is the murderer. It kind of just, moves along at a regular pace up until that point. But once Frank finds out, there is some good suspense elements to this. It's weird because the camera doesn't really move a lot in this film. It's pretty much stationary, which I haven't seen from a Hitchcock film before. Once he gets on a shot, the camera pretty much just stays there. Then it'll cut, and it'll be on something else. There's no really roaming camera shots or anything like that. But Blackmail, I'm going to give this film an 8 out of 10. It's definitely one of his better British films that I've seen so far. I really like it, and I think there's a lot of people out there that would check this film out and like it too. The version that's on this, it's pretty rough. I mean, it's a pretty rough film. The transfer is pretty bad. It's very, very dated. And very rough around the edges, as you could say. But it's still well worth checking out. It's still watchable, even though the sound is really bad too. I mean, I guess that probably figures into being the first talking picture from the UK. Of course, there's going to be limitations. But, yeah, guys, that's Blackmail. It's on this set. I do know it is also on YouTube. You can watch the entire film on YouTube. So, yeah, it's right there, easy to watch. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for now. Hope you all are doing well, and I will talk to you soon. Later.